everybody. Wake up, Mr. West!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, good people at Shakers Pub. How's everybody feeling tonight? Alright. Yes, I am Mr. Lee West. This is Brian Taylor. We are Reality TV. This is the Veterans Comedy Assault comedy show. Right?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say
that's how we say it.
Alright, Veterans Comedy Assault comedy show. You can put the two comedies.
How many words we're going to use at once, though? Well, that's like all the words.
All the words.
That's all the words. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Shakers Pub. This right here is the first stage I have ever touched in my show business career.
You don't want to applaud it. It was really terrible.
They let me in today. I stood on the stage. It was my first day, guys. I promise. No. About 5 years ago, I met Brian here. We did some jokes right here. Shout out to Mr. Alan S. who...
yeah, this place used to be called Finn's Pub.
Finn's Pub.
And I used to be...
June of 14?
June of 14?
15? 14?
And I've been on the show a solid, what, 8 months now?
About 8 months. I need somebody to drive me to the studio, so Brian was like...
Yeah, he does the studio time. I'm his chauffeur. It's, you know...
And I need somebody to pick up the slack.
So pretty much reality TV is about our community. It's about discovering artists. It's about artists that we currently have in our community. It's about non-profits. Everybody who is in our society who's making an impact and a difference, pretty much.
Absolutely.
So we've had multiple guests throughout our show. We've had a bunch of the veterans who are here tonight, actually. We've had John Rago on the show.
John Rago!
Give him a big round of applause. Yes, sir. We've had... Rich, have you been on the show? No, right?
Rich hasn't been on the show.
Rich hasn't been on the show. We've also had...
Andrew Barrett crashed the...
Andrew Barrett was there this past week.
Yeah. Andrew Barrett crashed the set.
Shout out to Andrew Barrett. We've actually had Pope of Hollywood on the show.
The Pope of Hollywood is not a veteran.
I know
he's not a veteran, but he is like a character. What is the word of it? Character.
She's an English teacher. She knows what she's talking about.
He's like a cartoon character of a person. You know, what is that? A character. Carrot tractor.
A carrot tractor. Is that what you just said? A carrot tractor?
You know how I am on the farm when they're plucking carrots and Bugs Bunny all like looking for the doctor?
Well, he kind of does. He looks like the like Super Mario Brothers too. Have you ever played that game? I guess.
Denim. That's what they wear, right?
What kind of pants does Super Mario wear?
Denim.
Stupid retarded. I apologize. We're just trying to give you a little bit of influence.
Yeah, we're just trying to let you know who we are, what we do here.
So what the Veterans Comedy Assault is, I don't know if you're familiar with the nonprofit Project 9 line. We got a few people in the building actually here from the Veterans Comedy Assault. What we do is at Project 9 line, we actually teach veterans how to perform comedy. That's what I do. So,
round of applause for Project 9 line.
So last year, we had about 7 comics come, 7 veteran comics, take the workshop, and together after that, they loved comedy so much, we created the Veterans Comedy Assault team. And they're in the building tonight. They're going to be performing all here for you tonight. So give them all a round of applause.
I want you to clap and keep it going for yourselves for coming out this evening and supporting the causes. Absolutely. Every dollar donated this evening goes back to the community of the veterans.
Yeah, it does. It does. Actually, and minus $10 from my pocket.
Hey, we almost broke it even, so I call it a win. But so let's start this thing. We're gonna, like any good respect to our veterans, we're gonna give you guys the national anthem, brought to you by the Breaking Hollywood show, Pope of Hollywood. Let's get Pope up here. Come on, Pope.
Mr. Pope.
Alright, how you doing? Pope of Hollywood here, and I'm not the king of the world, I'm the Pope of Hollywood. I am the owner and the president and the CEO and all that. Hello, is this thing on? Yeah. Hello? There you go. So I basically own Big Time TV Network, and it's a IMDb network with Internet Protocol Television with IMDb actors and all that stuff. And one of them is here tonight. You could just step out here. This is my friend Shadow, who just did a movie with Keanu Reeves and Liam Neeson and a bunch of other great actors. Step out here. He came to support the vets. Woo! She came all the way from the Bronx.
Hello.
We'll catch you on the sidelines, all right? All right. 6'6", all right? All right. And anyway, so I brought you a very special treat. In my endeavors, I used to be in the music business. I was the president of a record label. I do comedy. I do acting. I've been in numerous movies with Ken Kushner. I was a psychologist. I just recently did a movie with Stephen Baldwin. And I lived in Hollywood. I worked with Sean Penn, Josh Brolin, Sandra Oh, Rosario Dawson, just to mention a few names. I don't like to really throw those names around because most people, you know. But I am from a tiny island. Most of you probably never heard of it. It's called Manhattan. Oh. But anyway, so I went to LA to find out what the music industry was about, and I wound up getting into the acting industry, and cameras started following me around. I started working with famous people and going to the Oscars and all the awards, and I was on several other MTV shows and VH1 shows. And I wanted to tell you that I had a special opportunity to discover a gem, one time only, rough diamond, 20 years old. Her name is Caitlin Rule. She's from Rhode Island. She's not from New York. She came all the way over here just for this. And she just got a 3-single deal because of Over Hollywood with Sony Records. So here she is singing the national anthem, Caitlin Rule.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights and the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave, and the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Caitlin Rule, everybody. Wow, how great was she? So how's everybody doing? How are you guys? Come on, let me hear it. My name is Brian Katea. I will be your host and MC for the evening. So what made you guys all come out tonight? What made you guys come out on a Saturday night to a bar in an alleyway? Lee West! Lee West? Everybody's here for Lee West. Is anybody here celebrating anything? I know there's a birthday, right? Whose birthday is it? How old are you? 32. 32. Thank you for celebrating it here tonight. We really appreciate it.
I don't know.
Thank you for having a show for
You know what? Just be.
Oh, no problem, no problem.
John.
So where you going in Massapequa? You went to somewhere in Massapequa? I know all about you, man. Natalie's here. She's like, I have friends. Don't worry about it. I swear I have friends. They're coming at some point. And she waited like an hour and a half. You guys are still eating. That food was good. Thank you for your service. He's one of the veterans that just came to support. What's your name?
Carl.
Carl, where did you serve?
Germany.
In Germany? World War II? World War II?
55 to 58.
55 to 58. Wow. Now I want to thank Lee's father for coming out. Yeah. Mr. West. Mr. West. Man, so I'm excited. I wanted to get a haircut before I came, and I apologize. A few of them won't know my jokes. They're like, that's the shittiest segue. Man, but every time I get a haircut, are you alright, man? Are you alright, man? His face like blew up. I thought I made him nauseous. I'm like, what the fuck? But every time I get a haircut, it's always awkward. Have you ever went to a barber and it was like a good experience? Now, first off, you go there. Have you ever seen a barber use a broom? No, every time you go in there, they use the hairdryer. And there's lint, hair dander flying all over the place. You walk in choking. You know, and then they sit you down. You know, they throw in that backwards cape. You know, you look like a dyslexic superhero. You know, and you're sitting there defenseless. And out of nowhere, they'll just start, like, pumping you up. You know, no warning, you're just like, what? And then they start talking to you. Now, out of nowhere, they'll just be like, how was your day? What do you do for a living? Do you believe in love at first sight? Like, fucking cut my hair! And you can tell these barbers are really hurting for money. You know, because out of nowhere, they'll just slap shaving cream on your face. Like, now you have to give an extra tip. Now they start doing your eyebrows, giving you a massage, they're blowing you by the end of the haircut. Like I'm made of money. So it's the last time I let my mother cut my hair. Oh, thank you, Natalie. One person clapping.
And that was the first time I ever heard that joke.
And a little bit about myself, I grew up an only child. You know, I've been the center of attention my whole life. You know, recently my parents, they bought this little dog, this little Jack Russell Terrier, this cute little dog. I hate this piece of shit. I swear, this thing stole everything I've ever had. So when my parents come home, they get so excited to see it. They'll come home, they named it Lucy. They'll be like, Lucy, I'm home. And this dog just fucking shakes. It just fucking shakes, and my parents get a kick out of it. You know, like, I can't even compete anymore. You know, I tried. You know, the other day, I jumped in my parents' bed. I started licking my dad's face. Nothing. It's bullshit. I swear, this dog gets away with murder. I've been trying to make the dog look bad. You know, I've been, like, tearing up my parents' sneakers. And I took a shit in the living room. And I hopped the fence, fucked my neighbor's dog. The dog doesn't know any better, it's only your dog. It's bullshit. So this dog can sit there, you know, and lick its asshole for hours. Hours. Come up to my mom, lick her face. She's like, oh, you're so cute, huh? Now I fart in the same room. She's like, Brian, that's disgusting. How are you doing, Will?
Hi, I'm doing great. I got beer.
Oh, you got beer? That's awesome. Give him a big round of applause for drinking alcohol.
Woo! Alcohol!
Man, so, I lost 20 pounds this month.
Woo!
Thank you, my girlfriend. Man, but you know, it's always tough for me, losing weight. You know, I try to motivate myself, and I always fail. You ever try to do this? You ever try to, like, motivate yourself? You ever take these before pictures? Right, like, you know what? I'm going to show everybody I'm going to lose this weight. You know, have you ever went back a few months, took a look at a before picture? Like, holy shit, I looked good. See, my problem is I go to all these restaurants. I eat way too much. My pet peeve is I hate when waiters and waitresses, they try to memorize your order. You ever get that? Hi, sir. Oh, it's your fault. You're going out to get cancer. I appreciate it. Is that cigarettes?
Yeah, you want?
No, I'm good. I'm on stage, buddy. I don't know. That'd be weird. I don't know. I think there's a smoke detector in here. She's just having a full-out interview, and all I hear is the Caitlin Rules just listening in my left ear. Oh my God, I love doing this for the veterans. I'm like, I can't even concentrate. And has anyone here ever passed by a deaf child area sign? Has anybody ever seen that?
Yes.
Has anybody here ever seen the deaf child?
No.
Nobody's seen the deaf guy? No. Dude, every time I pass by this sign, you know, I get so excited. I slow down like 20. No, I look around like it's a safari. I'm like, where is he? I just got on my roof, where is he? You know, they call it deaf child area. You know, shouldn't it be like deaf child lives near? No, they call it deaf child area. Like they just like to gather. You know, like they come in herds or some shit. And they warn you too, like, are these people known to run in traffic? Like, would you ever just drive by, you see this sign, no one sees some deaf kid burst out of his house like, oh! No, what would you do if you hit one of these guys? No, ask them if they're all right? Because they're deaf? All right, let me give you guys a 20-second joke. This isn't my joke, but this is my favorite joke to tell people when I'm at bars. This is very convenient. All right, give me 20 seconds. This guy walks into a sperm bank with a ski mask and a gun. He walks up to the receptionist. He goes, show me the vault. She goes, this isn't a real bank. It's a sperm bank. He goes, I don't care. Just take me in the back. So they go in the back with all the vials, everything, you know. He points to one of the vials and goes, drink that. She goes, are you kidding me? That's somebody's semen. No way. He goes, I don't care. Drink it. She downs it. He points to another vial. Drink that. She downs it. The guy pulls off the ski mask. It's her husband. He goes, now is that so fucking hard? Are you guys ready to laugh? Are you guys ready for some more comedy? Let me bring you to the stage the man, the myth, the legend, the host of reality TV, Mr. Lee West himself. Brian Taylor, it's your mixed noise. And I think I got my mic stands all mixed up here. Yeah, I certainly do. All right. Why is that so hot? This one's broken too. Alright. Alright, what's up guys? How's everybody doing? Alright? Everybody enjoying yourself so far? The national anthem was dope, right? That chick was doing some things. Brian Taylor's pretty awesome. So as you may or may not have heard, I am Mr. Lee West. Some of you may recognize me from some of the films I've featured in, like The Penetrator, or Finding Nympho, or Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter Squirts. It's a lot of fun. I mean, this guy right here looking at me, all this dude swing dick for a living, you know? Really though, I do got a trade. By day, I'm an automatic transmission specialist. You know, I really had to stop running around telling people I do trades. I mean, check it out, right? All my life, I've been hollering at these 22-year-old broads like it's my job, right? You know you're starting to get a little older when these broads start calling you things like sir and mister and aren't you my dad's friend? I don't know, man. I recently turned 30. Something, you know? And this whole thing got me really feeling I need to like totally reevaluate the entire demographic of broads I be kicking it to. Now instead of me like checking out her booty, I'm like, hey mom, what's your credit score? Try to push something on, maybe not, you know, my mom's hand-me-down Camry, you know? Well, onward and upward, you know what I mean? But these kids out here, these kids these days, they got it easy, right? They're trying to holler at these chicks. Talking about, oh girl, make me a sandwich, make me a sandwich. Ladies, please, rest assured I can make my own damn sandwiches. I have mastered the art of sandwich meat and white bread. And plucking the little crusties off the sides and all that. I'm talking about maybe like some home cooking. Fold some clothes, do some dishes, rotisserie and chicken or something. Oh man, it's tough, man. These kids out here, yeah, all they do, they pop out their phone. Hey, yo, Netflix and chill? Netflix and chill. Back in my day, there was no Netflix and chill. There was no texting. You had to call abroad on a house phone, that one phone that was bolted to the wall with that long-ass cord on it, and your mom's was always on it, talking to your aunts and grandmas about recipes and Percocets, whatever aunts and grandmas talk about. I mean, whatever. Finally was my turn to use the phone. This is when you want to make the best impression on this chick's pops. Because you know he's the one answering that one phone in their house bolted to their wall. You know, phone rings. Smith residence.
hi, Mr. Smith. Yeah, how you doing? This is Lee. Is Caitlin home? Now, you gotta be polite as fuck with Pops. Otherwise, that's the difference between Caitlin, Lee's on the phone, or she ain't here. Don't call here no more. Fuck. You know, I miss the slamming of the phone. Like, dong, and the little bell would ring inside a little bit when you, boom. You know, it's not the same. You fling it, cost yourself a couple $100, you know, whatever. I don't know, man. That's what it was like back in my day. Dong. Now, I'm on Plenty of Fish. You don't know what this is? It's one of these dating websites. All these broads, they put up their best selfies, and they talk about their best attributes and the things they like to do, and maybe that one time they donate a little money to charity. I don't know. I'm just figuring, by the time I go on a date with one of these Plenty of Fish broads, I am not the first person to go on a date with one of these Plenty of Fish broads. So instead of all the stuff they write, I talk about maybe like a review section. You know, like a little history report. So kind of like Plenty of Fish feedback, if you would. Yeah? I don't know, man. It's like, I realize that dating these girls online is a lot like buying a used car online. I mean, she looks good. She claims to have low mileage. I'm just sitting over here like, show me the whole facts. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Mr. Lee West. I hope you enjoyed my antics here this evening. I'm going to turn back over to my brother, Mr. Brian Kataya.
He's a cartoon character, isn't he?
He's a caricature.
Caricature. Man, I like that callback. You guys are funnier than us. Man, I still never understood why you wear sunglasses. You see, he wears sunglasses, cowboy boots, and a ponytail with shaved head on the side. He makes no sense. He's like 3 different stereotypes in one. Man, you guys ready for some more show? You guys ready? Come on, I want to hear the momentum. This next guy, he's part of our show too. Kenny Murdoch, everybody. Kenny Murdoch. Hashtag the man class.
We're going for Brian Kataya, everybody. What a fantastic job. Look at you guys coming out on a Saturday night, still living your lives. That's awesome. Give it up for yourselves, man. That's like nobody's ever. Fuck the veterans. Give it up for you guys for giving up your Saturday nights. All right. I don't really get to get out a lot anymore. Mostly because all my friends are getting married and having kids. Like on purpose. Honestly, I thought marriage was you kind of just fuck everything that walks until you're 32, and then one night you get entirely too drunk and forget to pull out, you have a baby by that bitch, and you're married because it's the right thing to do, and you're miserable for the rest of your life. So that's what marriage was. I don't know. That's how my dad did my mom. It was love, guys. At least for the first 12 years. Getting married, man, I can't even take it. When your friends get married, there's no more random nights you go out anymore. Hey, Saturday, man, you want to go do some shots? Saturday. What was that, the 12th? I think we have a wine tasting that day. I'll be really full from cheese. But hey, we're going to Applebee's on Tuesday. Going to Applebee's on Tuesday? We used to do coke off of girls' vaginas. Now we're going to Applebee's on Tuesday? Didn't you get the Facebook invite? I'm getting a Facebook invite to Applebee's on Tuesday?
Yeah, I hear you on that.
But we go, because that's like our friends. We don't get to see them anymore. We're always the odd man out. It's always me and a bunch of married couples. We're not having interesting adult conversation. We plan to put $30,000 down on a house this summer. I just put $100 down on PlayStation. Pretty excited about it. We're not 100% sure if we should have went with the ranch or the colonial. I still sit up at night and think I should have went with Xbox, so... We all kind of got shit going on, Karen. Yeah, man, getting married and having kids, man. I can't even handle dating. It's not like when I was in my early 20s where I could just go on a beer pong run with them and they would mistake it for chemistry. Wow, we're a really good team. No, I'm just hitting 8 cups a game. Step your fucking shit up. Now every date's like an interview. Do you have good credit? Do you have a 401k? Where do you plan to retire? No. Savannah, Georgia? I don't know, I'm fucking 30 years old. Leave me the fuck alone. Yeah, man, getting married and having kids, man. Somebody told me that I just have a fear of commitment, which may or may not be true, because seriously, I'm leaving girls for the dumbest reasons at this point. I was seeing a girl and I stopped seeing her because she didn't like Scarface. I'm gonna admit, that's fickle of me, but she just had so many questions. Why does he like cocaine so much? A lot of money to count, a lot of shit to stay on top of. I'll stay focused. It's not important. This movie's so violent. Not easy getting to the top. Gotta do a lot of unsavory shit. Just enjoy the fucking show. Then we get to the end. One of the most awesome endings in cinematic history, man. A man lives the American dream. He systematically destroys an empire he built himself. And all she has to say? Well, that was sad. What fucking movie were you watching? Where did you think that was going? Seriously, what did she think was going to happen? He was going to survive, call for backup, defeat the henchmen, get back together with his wife, kick the habit, open up a small business somewhere, invest in 401ks and mutual bonds, retire in Savannah, Georgia, little wraparound Porsche, hanging moss, pitcher of lemonade. Actually, sounds pretty nice for Antonio, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I was the dick there, I don't know. But yeah, my buddy says, oh, I think you got a fear of commitment. You should give swinging a try. Woo! No, not for nothing, though. I'm not knocking anybody who's into that lifestyle. This table looks a little free and wild. But swinging is not for me, man. Another man banging the girl I love, it doesn't make me do this, it makes me do this. And I'm not jerking him off over my shoulder, I'm stabbing him in the fucking face till he dies. And then that got me thinking, at what point does that, what makes a swinger jealous anymore? Like he comes home from work. Oh, what a rough day. How was your day, baby? It was good, you know, I did the usual. I dropped the kids off at school. I went and I got my nails done with the girls. Tommy stopped by. Oh, Tommy stopped by? What did he want? Oh, he just wanted to get a couple of his things from the garage. Dropped off a couple of tomatoes from his garden. They're delicious. I'm using them in the salad tonight. He fucked me. And then he fixed that hole in Sal's wall. Whoa, back it up, Karen. Are you telling me you let another man come into our house and do home improvements? Well, you were just so busy. I told you I was going to get to that after the Giants game this weekend, Karen. Let me ask you something about that sheetrock, Karen. Was it well hung? Did he nail it really well? I can't believe this, Karen. Listen, guys, you've been fantastic. My name's Kenny Murdoch. Bring Brian back up here. Kenny Murdoch, everybody! Kenny Murdoch! Let's keep this show going. Introducing your first veteran for the night. He served in the Army. Give a big round of applause for Rich DeLasso, everybody. Rich DeLasso!
How's everybody doing tonight? I pray you heard that 5 times already. And another 5 times. As Brian said, my name is Rich DeLasso. As if my big nose, my delicious dark olive skin didn't give it away, I am Italian. I did serve 2 years in the Army, a year of that in Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. And ever since I've gone overseas, everybody automatically assumes I know every person in the Army. You were in the Army? Yeah, I was, as a matter of fact. You know, John? As if John isn't one of the most fucking popular names in the world. So, of course, I'm gonna tell them that I know him. Oh yeah, John, I banged his sister when I was in. He's still mad at me. I talk to him, tell him hi. So, I have a house. I have a lot of vaginas in my household. I have a wife, 2 little girls, ages 13, 15, female dog. People in my house, they do not get a period. They get an exclamation point. I'm sitting there with my fucking question mark, wondering what the hell I did wrong. Having females in the house can be a good thing. If for any reason I wake up and there's no coffee filters, I could always use a maxi pad. The downside, not a used one. The downside is, who's the fucking idiot that has to make these late night runs to Walgreens to go get fucking maxi pads? You're looking at them. So, I get told things like get daytime, get nighttime, wings, wingless. Now, I don't pretend by any stretch of the imagination to be an expert on the female menstrual cycle, but do vaginas bleed more during the day than they do at night? And then I get told that the wings with the fucking wings, I feel like I'm gonna walk into Walgreens, get attacked by fucking flying maxi pads. So there I sit in an aisle at Walgreens, dedicated vaginas, very, very confused, God forbid I get the wrong ones. I briefly mentioned my wife. I'm going to talk about her a little bit. I got married back in July. So, thank you. Marriage is, it's fun. You know, we do a lot together. We go food shopping. That's pretty much it. We go food shopping together. And I hate going food shopping, but I'll go. And I let her do the majority of the picking shit out because apparently I pick out shit like a college student. My cholesterol is over 400, but that's neither here nor there. So we go in the fucking bean aisle for 20 minutes. She's sitting there price comparing fucking Hormel chili and the store brand. Like it's a 3-cent difference. It just makes me want to throat punch a baby right in the dick. So, and then leading up to the wedding, I would always tell people, you know, get married in 15 days, get married in 17 days. They'd look at me and go, but who's counting? Shut the fuck up, I'm counting. Do I look like I'm happy? This is fucking awful. And then, you know, I tell people, oh yeah, I recently got married. Oh, wasn't the planning so much fun? No. It was the worst fucking experience of my life. I wanted to punch her in the face every day and blow my brains out for a fucking year and a half. It was awful. And then, even before the wedding, you know, people can't make it, so they're sending shit to our house. I get out of the shower one day, I heard the doorbell ring. Who was it on? Oh, we got a ninja delivered. Fucking ninja? All right, great, that's exactly what I need, is some Oriental guy doing karate through my fucking house as if I ain't got enough problems. Now, I say Oriental in jest. I'm not racist. There is a lot of political correctness nonsense going on, so I do say that in jest. During the holidays, people get fucking offended by Merry Christmas. What the hell is this? I wish the lady a Merry Christmas. She looked at me and goes, I don't celebrate Christmas. I'm offended. You're offended? Okay. So I wished her a fucking awful December 25th and called her a twat. She must not have been offended by that word because she didn't say a goddamn thing. So, and then, you know, political correctness, that fucking carries on. I lived in Florida for a long time. I'm from up here originally, but eventually I had to come back. Couldn't take it anymore. And the real nail in the coffin down in Florida was somebody got mad at me because I told them the South lost the Civil War. Which, anybody that took fucking 2nd grade history, the South lost the Civil War. So, this guy is pushing me or fucking yanking this up. Yeah. I pushed him and I start to draw my hand back. And I start moving it forward. And in slow motion, I notice myself going, the north winds again. As I made contact with his head. And then, retrospectively, it probably wasn't a good idea to do that at a Klan meeting, but, you know, it didn't make a difference. I didn't know it was a Klan meeting. I thought it was a fucking costume party and everybody's dressed like a ghost. So, you know, I mentioned my kids briefly, and having kids is a good thing. They'll do the dishes, they'll replace the toilet paper on the toilet paper roll, they'll go outside and shovel when it's cold. That's bullshit. I'm the shoveler. I'm the designated shoveler. Hey, Rich, it's snowing outside. Go shovel. You see me limping? That's from yesterday. Yes. So, I go outside. I shovel. Spend 2-3 hours as if I needed a good reason to know how out of shape I am. I know how out of shape I am. I get a breath getting up off the goddamn toilet. So, I finish my shoveling, go back to my garage. I like basking and shit, so I'm just gonna stand there, hands on hips, like a winter Adonis looking at the amazing clean driveway I have. Hey, stupid. Not so fast. You forgot to clean the cars off. Now get the ice scraper or get your fat ass back to shoveling. But, you know, and again, having kids is a good thing. I mean, they can master the fucking intricacies of an iPhone and laptops and, you know, probably drop a fucking, a mortar on a fucking camel out in the Pakistani desert, but they can't replace the toilet paper on the toilet paper roll. They have to fucking leave it on the sink where it'll get nice and moist for the next person. Fucking gross. So, I have a lot of inappropriate thoughts. Most of these occur to me in the men's room and not just when I'm looking down at my hands. I like making people feel uncomfortable. To me, it's funny. So, I go into a bathroom. There'll be 13, 14 urinals. They don't have that little, you know, that fucking quarter-inch fucking wall in between them. So, you know, you're standing right next to somebody. You know, you come in, somebody will walk in behind you, they go 4 or 5 stalls down, and then they turn on an angle like this, and they're like peeking over your shoulder, over their shoulder, like you're trying to eye their cock. That's when it's funny. You look at them and go, wow, you've got a huge penis. You must get laid all the time. Should see the looks. That means they've been doing it wrong for all these years. The other way to make people feel uncomfortable, like at Yankee Stadium or Citi Field, is, you know, in between innings, everybody's going to the bathroom, so you're waiting for your turn. You walk up to the urinal, and then you just pull your pants completely down, stand there like this. People don't like that either. I did that at my kid's school the other day. They were mad at me. I almost got detention. I'm gonna leave you guys with this. I enjoy a couple things in the morning. I enjoy my coffee, my cigarettes, good poop. That reverberated. That's what it sounds like. It's just one little nugget every time, too. So I enjoy good poop and a hot shower. So, you know, you get in the shower, 15, 20 different fucking shampoos sitting there. What do I see? Staring me right in the face, smiling at me. Johnson & Johnson. Tear-free. Motherfucking right. I don't want tears in my eyes. I don't cry while I'm fucking washing my hair. I'm a man. Johnson & Johnson is so full of shit. I pick up the shampoo. I start shampooing my hair. As soon as it gets in my dick hole, I'm crying like a baby. But on the other side of the spectrum, I said I like to take a good poop. So, you know, you're half asleep, you're sitting on the toilet. Best diet ever, drinking your coffee on your phone. 3 pounds right off the bat. You're not really paying attention. It's just falling out. You go to reach around on the toilet tank, grab a baby wipe, wipe your ass. Turns out you just wiped your ass with an antibacterial wipe. I can't win. I'm either burning from the asshole or burning from the dick. You guys have been a great audience. Thanks so much.
Rich Delasso. Yay. So I love the number of women in the room. Hi, how are you? Not speaking to you, I apologize. I heard a woman say, what? I'm like, no, Mr. What's your name again? I know you're Lee's mother-in-law, right? Or no? Mother?
Ann. My name is Ann.
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 Hi, Ann, how are you? This isn't awkward. I love the number of women in the room. Do you know what I love about women? I love how women, they use their bras as pockets. Have you guys ever seen that? I went on a date with this one girl. You know, I offered to pay for a movie. She's like, no, I got it. She pulled a 20 right out of her bra. And I didn't know if she forgot her wallet or she was a stripper. So I felt up this one chick. I made $247. It was amazing. But this other girl just kept on pulling stuff out. You know, money, cell phone, a Pop-Tart. It was crazy. It was toasted, too. I ate it. It was cherry. Speaking about women, are you guys ready for your next comic? Yeah. Lisa, you ready?
Ready.
Your next comic to the stage, she's a veteran. Lisa, everybody, Lisa.
guys doing? I'm an Army veteran. That's it. All right, so I used to work in Friendlies. I got fired. They said I wasn't friendly enough. I really pissed them off when I dropped some ice cream off and I said, yeah, here's your Reese's Penis Sundae. And what else? Wait, let me check. Oh. My GPS broke yesterday. So to get here today, I drove around for 2 hours. I was coming right from Central Islip. I can't read the phone. Like, you put the phone on and you plug it in. My phone, I have like the old phone, and it's cracked, and it doesn't talk, and I can't read it, so I just drove around in circles on the service road, off the service road, on the service road, off the service road. So now I have a JBDS, which is Jewish Boyfriend Directional System. So what that is I call him when I'm lost and I start screaming on the phone. I'm lost! And he's like, calm down, where are you? I'm like, I don't know, I'm lost. And then he can't hear me because, you know, when you're on speakerphone, people can't hear you. So the more I talk, the more he says, what? And I just start screaming, and yeah, then I'm lost. All right, so while I'm driving, there's, you know how everybody has those magnets on their car? The cars that say MTK and VT and OBX. What does that OBX one mean? Oh, okay, I don't know where that is. And then there's those little stick figure people with somebody chasing them with a baseball bat, right? That's my family. Well, I had one of those, no, I had a Montauk lifeguard magnet, and I went out to my car the other day, and it was gone. So I was really pissed off. So I backed out of the parking space, I smashed into the car behind me, and then I went looking for the guy who stole my magnet. So I decided I was just going to steal everybody else's magnets that were in the parking lot until I made a sentence. And I don't believe in collision, like it's really expensive, so I don't have collision on my car, so all the dents, I just covered like with a whole string of magnets, and it says like, my kid is in #1 school, and your kid sucks, and everybody's running after you. I don't know what I'm saying right now. Okay. So, I really want to break up with my boyfriend. He's a real jerk. Yeah, and he wears really bad underwear. Like, the first time he took his clothes off, he's got those boxers that are, like, really wide-legged, that wide-leg boxer. So what I figured out was the reason guys wear those, ladies, check your man's boxers, those are the gas-passing boxers. Those, I can tell, they allow all the gas to escape because it's nice and big and wide. So I don't understand why he doesn't wear the nut huggers like I wear. Not really. Well, here's the story. I live in an apartment and I don't have a washer and dryer. So I hate going to the laundromat, so I went to Rich DeLasso's house, because he's married to my daughter. I don't like the things he was saying about her. I went to his house. Their laundry room looks like 17 fucking closets exploded in their laundry room. So I can't do my laundry there. So I decided, fuck it, I'll just keep buying underwear. So I went to H&M, and H&M is like really long, and I'm really lazy. So the women's is in the back. So I didn't want to walk all the way to the women's, so I was like wandering around. I got to like the register and started having a panic attack. And right at the register they have headbands, socks, and men's nut huggers. So they came in black, gray, and light gray, and they were 3 for $10, so I bought 30 pairs. And they're like Spanx, but they're so much cheaper. They suck everything in, and you have like a little pocket in the front, and I can keep my cell phone there. Then why do I need a boyfriend?
military. Wow. Awesome. You guys ready for your next comic? Your next comic is a Navy veteran. Give a big round of applause to Suffolk County United Veterans, John Rago, everybody. John Rago. Any day now, John.
Don't ever let me follow Lisa again, okay? Lisa, beautiful.
Love you.
Brian, you might want to tell your parents that even China changed their one-child policy. I don't know that. Yes, hi everybody, my name is John Rago, and I am a bubblehead. Yeah. Anybody know what a bubblehead is?
Diver?
A bubblehead is a submarine sailor. Okay? One day my son asked me, he said, "Daddy, what did you do in the Navy?" I said, "Son, you're 37 years old. Why the fuck are you talking like that?" But the truth is that I was a sonar tech. Now, sonar are the eyes and ears of the boat. My nickname was Helen Keller. But to tell you a little bit about submarines you might not know, submarines are round, like a cigar shape. They're all black. And when on the surface, only 25% of the submarine is visible above the waterline. You know, if you need a visual for that, everybody see the picture of the film Crimson Tide with Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington? Well, just picture Denzel Washington in the bathtub, okay? But yeah, actually, we had, you know, when the submarine is submerged, it kind of looks like a whale. And this could be kind of, you know, it could mix up a whale, but, you know, you could fool a whale. In fact, one time, and this is the God's honest truth, I am not making this up, I wouldn't make this up to you people, because after all, I've known you too long. A whale came up behind the sub and actually ran into our propeller. That's not the kind of screwing that whale was thinking about. Yeah, I'll never forget the horrible sound that whale made. I said, "Captain, you were just hit by a whale." He said, "Are you sure? Have you ever heard that noise before?" I said, "Well, no. But that's the exact sound that I'd make if I got my dick caught in a Cuisinart." Yeah, we were the first submarine to perform a successful whale circumcision. We felt so bad for that whale, we named him Moby Dickless. Yeah, you know, PETA had a fit. When they heard what happened, they had a fit. They demanded that the Navy paint all their submarines yellow. The Navy refused. The Navy's not going to paint all their subs yellow. You can't live in a yellow submarine. A yellow submarine. A yellow submarine. We won't live in a yellow submarine. A yellow submarine. A yellow submarine. Now you'll be humming that song all the way home, won't you? Yeah, but actually, it was my parents that encouraged me to join the Navy. I said, "Gee, thanks, Mom and Dad, but I don't think the Navy takes 10-year-olds. But I had a pretty good childhood. I remember my parents would take me for long drives in the country. But I always found my way home. I'll tell you something, they were amazed at my sense of direction. And then for my birthday party, I wanted a piñata so bad, but they said we couldn't afford it. I said, "That's okay." I took a box of Tic Tacs, shoved it down my little brother's shorts, and let my friends hit him with it back. But it was, you know, my parents made me so sure of myself. Every time I was faced with a challenge, I was sure I couldn't do it. Well, after my enlistment was up, I decided I wasn't going to re-enlist. I wanted to get out. I wanted to conquer the world. I wanted to have my freedom. I was tired of taking orders, so I got out of the Navy. And I got married. Married to the same woman for 42 years. She's sitting right over there. Hi, honey.
Hi, dear.
If I would have stayed in the Navy, I would have been out 20 years ago. But, you know, our marriage got off to a pretty rocky start. We were actually thrown out of our hotel on our wedding night for having sex. Yeah. Hey, it wasn't my fault our room wasn't ready. Yeah, this is 1973. They kind of frowned on making love in the lobby in those days. Yeah, but my wife, man, she never forgets our anniversary. This past anniversary, she got me a garbage can. Man, this time it had wheels. You know, there's nothing that says I love you more than something from Rubbermaid. But, yeah, but you know, whenever I remember her, our anniversary, I forget it a lot. Maybe once every 10 years, hey, it's our anniversary. Oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah. The garbage can, right? Yeah, I remember. Like every other man, I hate shopping. So I just get a gift card. I mean, you show me a man that loves shopping, and I'll show you Caitlyn Jenner. My wife, she loves shopping. I mean, she goes shopping every day. She skipped a day once. Macy's sent her a get well card. There's times though I have to go with her. So I said, okay, look, you go do your shopping. I'm going to the Apple store, because that's where men go. So I was in the Apple store just last week, and there was this young guy next to me, and he's playing with his iPod. And I said, you know, when I was your age, all I had to listen to was AM radio. And he said, oh yeah? He said, what'd you do in the afternoon? Yeah. I said, you know, I'm old enough to remember where I was when JFK was shot. He says, to you, JFK is just an airport. And the guy said, hey, I remember Bill Clinton. They all remember Bill Clinton. I said, let me get this straight. I remember a president that was blown away, and you remember a president that reformed welfare. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of talk about where to put the terrorists that are down in Guantanamo Bay, where to stick these guys. You want to bring them to the U.S.? I got the perfect place for them. Bring them to Disney World. You let them ride It's a Small World for a couple of hours, and they'll tell you anything they want to know. And they'll probably beg to be waterboarded. I mean, not that I don't like Disney World. I love Disney World. But sometimes it gets kind of crazy. I mean, I was online for 45 minutes once before I realized it was a line to the ladies' room. I figured, you know, I waited this long, hey, might as well go in. You ever get these guys that tell you that they knew what they wanted to be since they were 3 years old? Yeah, really? You believe this shit? Let me get this straight. You're 3 years old. You just stopped peeing and pooping your pants. You're going through nipple withdrawal. And you decide this is a good time to start thinking about a career choice? When I was 3, I didn't even know I could be 4 someday. I'm 65 years old. I still don't know what I want to be. And I never heard a 3-year-old say, I want to be a cardiovascular surgeon. But, you know, it's adults' fault, too. And we egg this thing on. Your 3-year-old starts to tell you why they can't put their toys away. But Daddy, I'm only going to play with them again tomorrow. And what do we say? What, are you going to be a lawyer someday? Right? And then, hey, look at Tommy. Look how he's looking under his sister's dress. He's going to be a gynecologist. Speaking of gynecologists, you know, women have been contributing to our history since the dawn of time. Ever since Eve said to Adam, you know, you should eat more fruit. I'll wait. Yeah, I'll wait. And it was Ben Franklin's wife, Aretha, who in the heat of an argument told Ben to go fly a kite. And it was Mary Todd Lincoln who changed the course of history when she said to her beloved Abe, would it kill you to take me to the theater just once? All right, you've been great. Thank you so much.
John Rago, everybody. John Rago. Wow. You guys ready for your next comic? Are you guys ready? Come on, I feel the momentum. Yeah. This next comic is an Army medic. Give a big round of applause for Andrew Barrett, everybody. Andrew Barrett.
Hey guys, keep it going for me. So, I tried to be non-abrasive, so let's talk about things men are better at than women. It's not everything, it's not even most things. But, you know, you have to admit there are some things women are better at than men, and vice versa. Like, men are so much better at not getting date raped. Like leaps and bounds, we're dominating that category. You ladies need to step your game up. Those free drinks come with a price. No, you should never joke about date rape, ever. But I think I could joke about date rape, because sorry, I know what it's like to be date raped. Because I had a colonoscopy one time, and it's the exact same fucking thing. Like, you go into the doctor's office, the doctor's all chipper, everybody's talking well. Next thing you know, you're drowsy, you're just in your boxers, you're counting back from 100 for some fucking reason. And then you wake up in a different room, doctor's nowhere to be found, right? And the nurse draws the sheet, she's like, you can put your clothes back on. And I'm like, I just want to shower. For like 3 hours right now. So I had to get a colonoscopy years back because my brother had colon cancer. And after my colonoscopy, really, I'm not this funny, I can't make this up. Doctor comes into the room after I put my clothes back on. He goes, good news, no cancer, but you do have very impressive hemorrhoids. Oh, doc. Go on. You don't have cancer, but you have very impressive hemorrhoids. You know, I was home later that day. I think it was like 2 hours into my shower, and I realized that's a great way to break news to someone. You don't have cancer, but like, baby, you don't have cancer, or a boyfriend. Can you get the fuck out of my apartment? Yeah. You don't have cancer, but you have very impressive hemorrhoids. Getting caught on the cable. Yeah, very impressive hemorrhoids. Like, you told me something I don't know. Like, every time I shit, it looks like a wire hanger was involved. No, you should never joke about abortion. Ever, ever. But I think I could joke about abortion because I've been through 2 abortions, and man, does my vagina kill. Like, you ever just think you have the life sucked out of you? No, sorry. Not everybody's gonna go with me on that joke. I am a piece of shit and I've been horrible to women my whole life, which makes me think that I'm randomly gonna knock up a girl and it's gonna be a female baby, and I'm gonna have to name her Karma. I don't know if you guys got that joke. I have to name her Karma because Karma's a bitch. You ever tried picking up a girl with a diaper bag? Fucking up my game already. I mean, I I guess I could stop that by wearing condoms, but that life sounds terrible. I mean, like, dude, like when I wear a condom, I have to fake an orgasm. Or, actually, all right, let me be honest for a second. I feel like we've gotten to know each other. If I put on a condom, it's either I have to fake an orgasm or I come in like 30 seconds. And it's like, when I come way too quick on a condom, it's like I put a bag over my dick and my dick is like a submarine captain. He's like, there's no oxygen, there's no oxygen, dump the load, pull out, it's way too late to pull out. Or I have to fake an orgasm. Yo, like men fake orgasms out of necessity. Women fake orgasms because... No, I was asking, like, what the fuck makes you ever do that? Yo, listen, this is how men work. Once we know how to do a job, we're gonna try to figure out how little effort we can do to do that job. So if you fake an orgasm, that dude's like, oh, nailed it. I'm the man. And then the next time he's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna put a little less effort in. Like you're training him wrong. You ever train a dog? If he shits in the bedroom, just beat the shit out of him. I don't like to ask personal questions from the crowd, but any couples out here tonight? Woo! How often do you go down on your girl?
Every chance I get.
Right? Yeah. That's the correct answer. That's the correct answer. Ladies, like if you don't suck your man's dick, the other girl on the side does. But guys, if you don't go down on your girl, I can steal your girlfriend. See, my problem though, what's the closest couple I can pick on? What's up? No.
I'm not here, brother.
What's up, Lee? See, my problem is I'm tall and I have really bad knees. Alright, so I go down on a girl. I'm 6'2", right? So a queen size bed is the smallest one I can fit on. So I'm down there, right? And I'm going to town, you know? But I got really bad knees, so my knees are always hanging over the bed. And my knees fucking suck, so I gotta shift weight. Left. Right. Because the only other way to alleviate pressure is to put my legs up like this. Hey ladies, is anybody coming if you live down to your man like this? Yeah, because this is one step away from this. I have no idea how to get out of this joke, so I'm just going to stop it. Yeah, my knees hurt. So I am single. I got kicked off. I have no segues, get over it. I got kicked off blackpeoplemeet.com today. It sucks. Like, not only do I have to be lonely, but I have to deal with racism now. Thanks a lot, Obama. I know what that tagline means, but I do like saying it. I'm single. I have an ex-girlfriend named Kim that ruined my life. We were on and off for about 7 years. She hit me with a car. I thought that was a good time to leave her.
I guess that's how your knees got fucked.
A lot of people are like, hey, you have a psychotic ex-girlfriend named Kim. That was a lot of waste of your life. And I said, yeah, it is, but it's also a prerequisite to join the Eminem fan club. You know, I thought we were crazy in love. I was going to stay till I collapse.
Oh my God.
I know, it's just the way I am. And other Eminem puns. She was great. I shouldn't take it. There are a couple warning signs. She used to say crazy shit all the time. Like one time we were having sex. I don't say making love because I'm a realist. Who makes love here? You have a terrible sex life. But one time we were having sex and she goes, slow down, I don't want to come yet. yo, this train's pulling into the station. Alright? If you missed your stop, that shit's on you. We've been having sex for 5 minutes, I could have came 15 minutes ago. Get your shit on track. But I am single, which means I watch a lot of porn. Woo! Yeah, give it up for porn. That was only Lee, right? He's the only honest one. Every man in here watches porn. But, you know, sometimes like, you know, like porn, like, they'll describe the video, and it's like, why? Like, stepdaughter fucks stepfather. Like,
Oh my god, I watched that today.
yeah. So did I. Listen, I am single later on if you want to be the stepdaughter. Lee, like I said before, I can take your girl. I'm not. Stepdaughter fucks stepfather. Like, I'm watching porn. Do you need to bring divorce into this? Like, really? Like, I'm trying to watch an 18-year-old get fucked in the ass, and you're making this really weird. I expected more from youjizz.com. I like that joke. Porn, I think I'm watching too much porn. Porn led to the weirdest conversation of my life. I called out my boy, and I hadn't spoken to him for a couple of years. And after a while, he goes, "Yo, Andrew, what made you call me?" Not that I'm saying anything. Well, I was like, you know what? Because I don't have a filter. I was like, actually, I was watching a porno and the dude kind of looked like you. And then there was a really awkward silence. And he goes, well, what kind of porno was it? And now I think I'm going to get accused of something. Like, what the fuck does he think I'm into? I'm like, no, it was just a regular porn. White dude, black chick, regular porn. He goes, that's how you know it wouldn't have been me. I would never fuck a black chick. And then there was another really long, awkward pause. Because in my end on the phone, I'm like, holy shit, I think my friend's racist. And on his end of the phone, he's like, I think my friend's gay. He just jerked off to a porno with a dude that looked like me. We haven't spoken since. That was 2 years ago. I'm gonna leave you guys on a happy note. My aunt died over the summer. That was true. But towards the end, she was kept alive on machines. And I want to say to everybody in my life, I never want to be kept alive on a machine. Unless it's like a really sweet machine. Like, right? Like an EKG, that as long as my heart's going, there's a movie projector with a movie trilogy saga. And as long as I live, you guys get to watch this awesome movie marathon. How much more would you be rooting for that guy? What would you rather? Boop, 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 or bum ba dum bum bum ba dum bum ba bum ba da da da. My name's Andrew Barrett, guys. Thanks.
Andrew Barrett, everybody. The veteran with bad knees. You guys ready for your next comment? Woo! Next comic's an Army recruiter. Give it up for Will Gates, everybody. Will Gates.
Well, my fucking cover. It's fucking Saturday. I'm a porn star. I'm not the only one on Saturday. Adult entertainer, sorry. Hello, everybody. Hi. Hello, Will. That works. Hi, Will. First of all, give it up for all the veterans that have come up here and done comedy. A lot of them have just started doing this shit. You can't even tell. They're coming up here and they're killing it. I'm very proud of them. I was very proud of them. And when I say was, I was until I started becoming funnier than me. And I'm not very... Bullshit. Give it up for this guy here. I'm guessing you came out to support the veterans because you are obviously a veteran. Give it up for him. Probably went to war when war was war, you guys. Thank you very much, and I sincerely mean that. Okay, where were we? Who's drinking? 50% of the audience is drinking, which means we have designated drivers. I'll get to it. But drink it. It makes everything better, right? It makes everything better. It makes stand-up comedy funnier, right? So keep drinking. Makes the opposite sex look more attractive, right? Yeah, make babysitters look older. Makes handcuffs hurt less. And I like to drink, but I usually do, arrange for a designated driver, and that's great. And 50% of the audience clapping for drinking, which is typically 105% clapping for drinking. I can tell you guys have designated drivers too, which is great. And I just hope you guys were selective with your choice of designated driver. Just because somebody's sober doesn't mean their ass can drive, right? Think about it. What if you actually did do the right thing, you got a designated driver for tonight, and you were on your way home and it was your drunk ass that noticed the minivan and even pointed out the baby on board sick before your DD totaled that bitch. Think about it. Try to do the right thing. All of a sudden the mom has to scrape a couple stick fingers off the back window. Go ahead. Oh, everybody always awes like that shit's really gonna happen. Like some woman out there is really gonna scratch a couple stick figures off the back window. When in reality she's gonna use a red Sharpie and cross them out. But the point is, it's not gonna really happen, right? So I like to drink. Beer is good. What's that?
Beer is life.
Beer is life. He said beer is life. It's true. Seeds are in beer. Beer is in life. Beer is not just good for you, it's good for you. I got it. Beer is great. Anyway, my name is Will Gates. That is my real name. It's not my stripper name or anything like that. Rocket Power is my stripper name, but Will Gates is my... Will Gates is my real name, and if you guys could do me a favor, if we end up talking after the show, or you just talking amongst yourselves, or if you add me on Facebook or whatever, please refer to me as Will. I get it, it sounds like Bill Gates, but I am not a Bill, okay? For instance, when Lee West doesn't pay me after the show, I'm not gonna fuck up his credit. Okay, I'm not a Bill. People at least look me over for throwing me in the trash. I'm not a Bill. I've never been a Bill, as far as I can remember. I've never been attached to a hat to keep the sun out of anybody's eyes. I've never been on the front of a duck's face. I've never lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. I am not a Bill. Hey, I'm the first one to do a Super Bowl joke. The Super Bowl is tomorrow. We got a room full of comedians, and I'm the first one to do it. And you guys are going, oh. You guys know awe is just like laughing, but with a lot less beer. So all of you that... But yeah, call me Will Gates. I'm not a Bill. And the irony with my name is I grew up poor. I did. Anybody here grow up poor?
Woo! Yeah!
Okay, so about 25% of the audience is going to get my jokes. The rest of you are going to be like, this guy's fucking stupid. But I grew up poor. I'm telling you, I grew up really, really poor. I grew up so poor as a kid, I used to receive Christian Children's Fund money from a well-off family in Ethiopia. I'm telling you, Sally Struthers had those commercials for the third world country kids. I didn't feel bad for them. I grew up in a third world county in California. I'm serious, man. Me and my friends, we'd be playing out in the trailer park every and again. A NATO helicopter would swoop overhead and drop medical supplies. And we would eat the shit out of that A&D ointment, too. To us, A&D was antibacterial and delicious. But as you can see, being poor, it made me creative, because, back when I was a kid, I didn't have toys, I didn't have video games, I didn't have dinner, so I had to be creative. For instance, Halloween would come around, I couldn't afford a Halloween costume, I had to be creative. One year I wanted to be a ghost, but my mom didn't want to let me cut holes in the family sheet. And we didn't even have a white sheet. We had one ugly brown sheet. I had to walk around as a brown, blind ghost. I told people I was Ray Charles in the afterlife. Shit, one year I just went out trick-or-treating butt naked. Yeah, told people I was the Terminator from the opening scene. But It sucks being a poor kid, you know, because you have to go to school with other kids, right? And they're mean. And you could tell I was a poor kid. You could just look in the lunch line. You would see one kid, he would have a Dukes of Hazzard lunchbox. You would see another kid, he'd have a Transformers lunchbox. You'd see me, I'd have my free lunch ticket. Hey, you know you're broke when the government's like, we'll pay for his lunch. It's broke, and it sucks because, you know, when you're poor, you can only hang out with other poor kids. That's just how it goes. And like I told you, I went to school on the West Coast. So any school I went to, you know, you have poor white kids, poor Mexican kids, and poor black kids. I didn't hang out with the other poor white kids. I didn't, for a few reasons. First of all, poor white kids steal. I don't know if you knew that. They steal anything. I'm telling you, I invited a poor white kid up into my trailer once. He didn't even own a VCR. 2 weeks later, I noticed Roger Rabbit was missing. They will take anything. The only thing a poor white kid will not take is a bath. And that is another reason. That's another reason I didn't hang out. I was actually pretty clean as a poor white trash kid. You know, those other kids, they were dirty and disgusting. They were like that Pikey scene from Snatch. You ever seen that movie? And another reason I didn't hang out with them, I don't know why this was, but I was the only poor white kid I knew that didn't have a speech impediment. I don't know why that is. It's true, they all talked funny. They all said words like library and whiff and cheater. And they would all get made fun of too, and they would get mad too, they would fire back. I told you I'm not retarded, I just have trouble with my ahs and ales. Well, how many times do I have to tell you? It's not special ed, it's speech therapy. I only ride the short bus because not a lot of kids in my district. I didn't... Thank you. I'll tell you. I'm not done though. Keep going. I didn't hang out with the poor Mexican kids either. First of all, poor Mexican kids steal. Okay. Man, hey, I said white kids. I mean, we already knew that, but I said it. And here's another thing about poor Mexican kids. They just, I mean, I'm not racist, okay, but they just do things different, okay? I don't know if you're familiar with West Coast Mexicans or how they do things, but they have different indoctrination techniques than other social groups. Oh, sure, white boy, you can hang out with us. We're going to call you Casper. And it's really easy to hang out. All you have to do is slick back your hair, unbutton all your buttons except for your top one. You have to put your pants up to your nipples. You have to cheer for the Raiders, but first, you have to let all of us kick your ass, motherfucker. And I didn't really like the Raiders, so I actually started football joke number 2. So I hung out with a lot of black kids growing up, and yes, black kids steal, but we all steal. It's fair. You can laugh. We all steal. All the poor kids steal because we don't have shit. Dinner. But here's the thing about black. At least with black kids, being poor was like a trend. It's like it says so in hip hop songs, you know. So that's how you know. It's like a trendy thing to be poor. As a matter of fact, in any school I went to, it was quasi unsafe to be black and not be poor. In any school I went to, if you were black and your parents made money, you came to school and you lied. Hey Tyrone, what do your parents do for a living? Mom's is a lawyer and Pops is a police officer. Oh shit! What I meant to say was, Mom's is on the welfare and I ain't even know who my Pops is. And there are a lot of differences between poor black people and poor white people, but I'll tell you a big difference. Name brands. I don't know if you know this about poor white people, they are fucking cheap. Generic everything. Okay, even now I have generic everything. I'm telling you, I got a generic iPod. It's the one where they drop the D at the end. It's just called an iPod. And then I know that shit's generic because the first time I ever listened to 2 Chainz, my neck turned green. But that's how we are. Poor white, or well, us as in poor white people and 40% of the room, we just generic everything. Black people, not the case. They don't send their kids to school in generic shit to get their asses kicked like we do. You know, I'd be excited to hang out with my black friends. I'd always ask to stay the night because their parents would buy them name brand cereal. They always had the good cereals. They had Golden Grams, they had Chex, they had Kicks. I'm not talking about shoes, stop being racist, I'm talking about the cereal. Kicks. Shit, you come into my trailer, you look in the cupboard, if you find any cereal at all, you're gonna find some downgraded ass generic cereal. You're gonna find Lieutenant Crunch. Or Copper Grams. You're not gonna find any corn, you're not gonna find any frosted. What you're gonna find is a black and white box that just says flakes. And some powdered milk. And some vodka. Oh no, I take it back. One time my mom did come home with name brand cereal, but that's because it was a foreign product and she bought foreign products to save money. And one day she brought home Mexican alphabets. And that was crazy because all the R's had little swervy lines. I mean, I'm sorry, all the N's had little swervy lines all over them. And all the R's came in threes. Yeah, I fucked up that joke, but it's funny. I'd be excited to hang out with my black friends. At least their parents could break for some real Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? They had all the good flavors too. They had cherry, mountain berry blast, pink lemonade, very berry, strawberry. You know what poor white kids had to drink? Flavor-Aid. Yeah, and that shit only came in 3 flavors too: cherry, grape, and lemon. Notice I didn't say lemonade, just flat-ass lemon. Not like it matters much, it's all equally disgusting. It tasted like crushed ass printed water. But this is a scientific fact. Take Flavor-Aid and put it together with rubbing alcohol, you will make Mad Dog 2020. I'm serious, give it a try. You remember the old Flavor-Aid, the old Kool-Aid commercials where the Kool-Aid man, he would bust through the brick wall and he'd be like, oh yeah, and all the kids would start jumping up and down and dancing around him and having a big party with no parents around because nobody was concerned as to whether or not the Kool-Aid man was diddling the kids because he's a giant red glass pitcher of nutritious, delicious Kool-Aid. Remember that shit? Well, Flavor-Aid didn't have a commercial. First of all, because most of the kids that drank Flavor-Aid didn't have a TV. But if they did, I'm sure it would be very similar, only a lot more dysfunctional. It would start off with the Flavor-Aid version of the Kool-Aid man. He would bust through your aluminum trailer wall, and he'd be like, oh, snap, where the fuck am I? And all the poor white kids with speech impediments would be like, it's Flavor-Aid man! And Flavor-Aid man won't be a giant red pitcher of Kool-Aid either. He'll be a reused milk jug filled up with lemon and some Smirnoff. And he won't be a good influence on them kids either. He'll be like, hey, kids. Hey, where's that drunk piece of shit mother of yours? I need an alibi. And those kids will be like, same place she is every afternoon, Flavor-Aid man. Passed out on the couch watching Days of Our Lives. Well, the cops are coming by if they ask. I was at a birthday party yesterday from 3 to 7, and them badass white trash pikey kids are gonna help them out. They'll never believe that, Flavor-Aid man. Everybody knows kids switching up for birthday parties don't drink Flavor-Aid. It's a very intricate commercial. You won't see it aired on the Super Bowl. That's Super Bowl joke number 3. I just want to see how many times I could do this and you guys will laugh. Last time. Fuck, you're right. Hide me in the refrigerator. We don't have a refrigerator. You have to wait till nighttime and sit outside. You guys have been terrific. Thank you guys very much for coming out. Keep having a great time.
Go Kings, everybody! Go Kings! You guys ready for your headliner? Yeah. Are you guys ready? This next guy's my favorite. He's part of the Veterans Comedy Team. He's most recently seen at Comics Comedy Club at the Mohegan Sun. Woo! Give a big round of applause, everybody, for Tugboat Manny. Tugboat Manny. He moves as fast as a tugboat.
Thanks a lot.
Tugboat Manny, tugboat.
All right.
Keep it going, yeah!
Thank you. Yeah. I just got to record this. All right. I'm tired of being used for sex. Let's get right to it. All right. Thanks for coming out, guys, and supporting live comedy. And they don't serve food here. Yeah, and there's a really nice picture in the bathroom, in the men's room, which, guys, last week I came here and I had to use the bathroom, and there was this guy holding up the men's room. So what I did is what I normally do. I snuck into the woman's room. Yeah. And sitting in the stall, I noticed on the wall it said "For a Good Time," called Tugboat Manny. Yeah, I wasn't the least bit surprised. Because 2 weeks earlier I wrote it. Applause break for changing for that, yeah. That's awesome, it's a lot of fun. I like to, before I forget, I'd like to thank Reality TV. It's awesome. You know, it's funny, he said I performed at the Mohegan Sun, and I brought 5 people there. That's 5 more people that I can bring to any venue on Long Island. But it's awesome. And Project 9 Veterans Comedy Assault, I mean, it's awesome. Brian came to an open mic, you know, last year, and he brought everybody down there to the first comedy class, and he said, "You're a veteran?" I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Matter of fact, you know, I went to a comedy club, and there was this comedian that was performing. He said, you know, ever since Hurricane Sandy, we look at the beach a different way." Yeah, I started laughing too, Kenny. And he said, "That's not funny, you sick bastard." So later on in the show, he goes, "I perform overseas for our military service people, you know?" And he goes, "Matter of fact, are there any veterans here? You know, like tonight?" And I raised my hand. And he goes, "Is that sick bastard again?" And he asked me, he goes, "When did you serve?" And I said, "During the Gulf War." And he said, "Where?" I said, "Tampa, Florida." Yeah. I was part of Walrus Team 6. Yeah. A lot of fun in the Navy. You know, one time in the Navy on the 4th of July, they threw me in the brig. Turns out hand grenades aren't considered fireworks, you know? Guys, I'm glad that the holidays are over. Woo! Yeah. You know, I always hated Christmas growing up as a kid because my mother's dyslexic. On all of my Christmas presents, she wrote "To Manny, loves Satan." And I knew she was dyslexic because we were the only family who had a Christmas tree with the star on the bottom. Yeah, talking about that, as you can see, I'm a big star. Woo! Yeah. Thanks for laughing, Will Gates. Will Gates is awesome. He's so polished up there. I love him. And he looks really handsome and stuff. I hate him. Bigger biceps and stuff and all that. But anyway, don't let him fool you. He'll beat us all up. So we got, what's that?
Well, thank you.
Yeah. But he's really cool. Listen, guys, the next UFC fight, we're all invited over his house. It's awesome. What's up, Steve? How you doing? Guys, look, by the way, this portion of the show is brought to you by Hellman's Mayonnaise. The real stuff, you know? It only brings out the best. And I love Hellman's Mayonnaise so much. Yeah, you got the, oh, Lisa, you're laughing? Yeah, I laughed at your set too, she's so funny. I want to break out with my boyfriend. and go out with Tugboat Manny. They say if you can make a girl laugh, you got them, right? Yeah. So yeah, I'm a big star. Performed at the Mohegan Sun. Woo! That was a lot of fun. And I actually told them, I said I'm a big star. And they laughed. And I said, whenever I look in the mirror, I see a big star. And they laughed, unlike you guys, you know. But, yeah, and, guys, I have the hots for this one girl. I call her all the time. She's like, you know, Manny, you're like a stalker. But I'm willing to meet you at a public place. Where are you now? Ding dong. Lisa. You have to fix the doorbell. I bring a lot of negativity to conversations, as you can see. One girl told me that I talk stupid. I said, no, I talk stupidly. One time I dated this girl. Yeah, one time. And she used to call me romantic. Not because I was a good lover, because she said I was a parasite. Yeah, I'm on long-term disability because of my mental issues. Thanks for laughing, Lee. Yeah, on the weekends they let me out of the cage to do this. So yeah, and my insurance company, what they did is they sent a career coach out to my house to counsel me on how to get a job. And after talking to me for 2 hours, she said, we are upping your benefits. I'm still waiting for the retroactive pay. Guys, look. I've been on so many job interviews and not gotten hired. I guess I should stop saying at that point in the interview when they ask me if I have any questions. I should probably stop saying, does your company provide long-term disability? Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. You know, my friends keep pushing me to meet a girl. Like I need to be served with another order of protection. You know what I'm doing? Chill out. Is there another chair? Let's get comfortable, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what the heck, you know? There's no rules. It's comedy. You know, this is it, you know? I used to get all excited, and I'm not even recording the set. That's alright. Is anybody recording this?
I got it.
Is that John?
Yeah, I got it.
Guys, sugar is very close to John. You know? He gave me a ride here.
How you getting home?
I ride home and he bought pizza. I think I want to ride with him every time. Hopefully we get ice cream on the way home.
Sure, too.
Yeah. You know, this portion of the show is also brought to you by Paxil. Is there anybody here that doesn't know what Paxil is? It's an antidepressant. So let's go ahead and do that joke again. Yeah. And I had a meeting with my psychiatrist on Wednesday. And she said, Manny, what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade your mental status to just below bipolar. I said, why can't I just be bipolar? What do you have to do? She goes, well, do you hear voices? And I said, yeah. I said, they're coming from out of the kitchen. Yeah. Out of the mayonnaise jar. And I gotta tell you, I love Hellman's mayonnaise so much that I ask for extra Hellman's mayonnaise everywhere I go. Especially at Carvel. Yeah, and Hellman's, I don't know if you guys know this. Oh, he's laughing again. He always laughs. Whenever I drop the Hellman's mayonnaise line, it's always a big hit with just one person. And not my mother at all. Whenever she buys a new bottle of Hellman's mayonnaise, she puts the 3 empty bottles on the bottom of the refrigerator, you know? And she's always yelling at me, don't use the mayonnaise manual. And she's like, you could scrape though. And she's mad at me for eating all the cold cuts. You know, she goes, where did the cold cuts go? And I said, in my belly. She goes, 2 pounds in 2 days? I said, yeah, I want to make sure that they don't go bad, you know? She said, oh, it's terrible. She's like, we're going to have to start putting our name on our cold cuts. Yeah. And I said, that's a very good idea, Mom. I call it Cookie. It's a very good idea, Cookie. She's like, I'm not your cookie. So anyway, I said, well, what we'll do is I'll put my name on my cold cuts, and on your cold cuts, we'll put yours and mine. Yeah, she doesn't think it's funny. Yeah, she goes, Manuel, do they pay you for these things? These comedy things? I said, no, Ma, look at me. They don't even feed me. She goes, they figure you already had enough, you know? Yeah. Thanks for the pizza, John Rago, talking about that. She goes, so Manuel, how's this big comedy career of yours working out for you? I say, great, Ma. 2 years in comedy and doors are already starting to open up for me. She said, which one's Manuel? The refrigerator? Yeah. You know, guys, when I was a kid, one day in the ceiling, just like this, I found my father's secret stash of dirty magazines. And that was a really great day, because it was also next to his box of chocolate Entenmann's donuts. Yeah. Yeah. My father, he was always there rooting me on with that air horn of his, you know. You know. It was awesome during the football games, but boy, he really messed me up during my chemistry final. Yeah. And when I was a kid, my father used to work in a porno store. I really love bringing son to work day. But career day was the worst in my school. Because I had the only father that stood up there and he said, now kids, this right here is $29.95. And my teacher, she was so upset because she paid $49.95. That's the first time I seen you laugh. That's awesome. Yo, I was a Navy reservist. A lot of you guys here, most of you guys, or everyone here besides me, was active duty, and I'm sure you were full-time active duty too. And they might have asked you, but I was probably outside just studying for my set, you know, which just fell apart. Yeah. So thank you for your service. I met you before. You're Lee's father? Oh, okay, that's great. So I just want, that's, who do you know? You know John, oh, you know John Rago. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Thank you.
John Rago's awesome. And I met Lee's parents over there. You're right, yes. And I'm sorry too. Yeah, so when I was a kid, guys, one day, Not one day, multiple times. I went in my mother's pocketbook and I used to take things out of it all the time. Finally, she got so fed up, she said, Manuel, this is the last time I buy lipstick. Guys, this is the highlight of my career. Yeah. Well, besides performing in nursing homes. You know, last week I performed in this one nursing home, and I got heckled by this one old lady. Yeah, and I was so upset before I left, I unplugged my mother's oxygen. Guys, there was still a half a pound of ham in the fridge, you know? Yeah. You know, I had to pay my therapist, and I went to her house, and I knocked on the door, and nobody answered. And I went around back, and my therapist, she was in her pool wearing her bikini. She said, you know, Manny, this is very inappropriate. I said, I'm sorry, I'll put it away. You know, they asked me, my counselor asked me at mental camp. I said, yeah, we'll talk about my therapist at mental camp later, but I go to mental camp. Woo! Yeah, and the only reason why that I go is because lunch is $1. That's why I bring $10. But it's great there. You know, my counselor asked me, she goes, do you have separation anxiety? And I'm like, yes. Every time I lose my cell phone. Yeah. That's probably why I don't do that joke. Same thing last week. And I said, that's probably why I don't do that joke. And the lady in the back of the room goes, see, now that's funny. I'm broke. Yeah. So in order to make money, I have garage sales. Oh. Yeah, I got in trouble last week when I had this really big garage sale when my neighbors came home early. When I was 15, I stole a box of 20 condoms. As of last week, there's 19 left. That's the second time I've seen you laugh. And one I used as a water balloon. Yeah. So my therapist, she came in the room, and we have these, you know, round table things, group therapy things, and they're awesome. And I hate the one therapist. She's like, whatever you do, Manny, in the world, it always comes back to you. It's always you. And I'm like, you're right. So anyway, she goes, yeah, it's just something, you know. I'm like, listen, I performed the other day and my joke didn't go over. She goes, it's because of you. I said, how did it because it worked like the Mohegan Sun? She goes, it's because of your delivery. So now I'm going to try to deliver my next joke the way that she tells me. Yeah. She goes, you know, she comes in the room, she goes, listen guys, we're going to do something different today. We're going to go around the room and we're going to talk about what your first action of the day is. You know, like what do you have to do first to make you feel good? And she goes, for example, what I have to do first is I have to make my bed. I'm like, you don't have to make coffee? She's like, no, I have to make my bed. It makes me feel good. And then I go throughout my day, and coffee I'll have later. So she went around the room just like this with, you know, all my mental friends, you know. Little do I know, you guys are just as mental as me, you know. So she goes, John, what's your, you know, your first action of the day that you have to do to make you feel good? And he's like, I have to listen to Huey Lewis in the news. I couldn't help but laugh. He's like, you laugh, but it makes me feel good. And I was like, you know what? I can't be making fun of this guy, because they're going to ask me. So they come around the room and they said, Manny, what's your first action of the day to make you feel good? And I said, I have to make a ham sandwich with extra Hellman's mayonnaise. I hear giggles. Guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but Hellman's last year turned 100. And if it wasn't for Hellman's mayonnaise, I wouldn't have met my other really good friend that I'm going to have for the rest of my life. 3 cholesterol pills, a baby aspirin, you know, the cheaper one, not the store brand, you know, they're the same, you know, you go, it's terrible. Yeah, okay. We're gonna have, you know, I have so much more, but I'm gonna have to wrap this up. Listen, I don't want to go against policy. I joined Facebook just so I could poke girls. Yeah. You want to be friends? I volunteered in the hospital, and I once gave this guy a shave prep before surgery. Then they fired me. They said, you know, man, you're supposed to be working in the gift shop. I tried online dating, and after 3 months they made me put a disclaimer on my profile. Yeah. It says dating Manny may cause headaches. And bankruptcy. And in 9 out of 10 cases, lesbianism. And here's the finale. I recently just got fired from my volunteer fire department. It turns out you weren't supposed to carry women out of the bedroom window. Unless there's a fire. Hey, thank you very much. You guys are awesome.
Give a big round of applause for all your comics tonight. What we do here with the Veterans Comedy Assault, what we do is we help, through Project 9 Line, we help veterans learn the art of stand-up comedy. And after that, now we have a separate entity of the Veterans Comedy Assault, which you guys have all seen tonight. All these veterans are getting paid to do comedy tonight. Give them a big round of applause for that. It's very hard to make money in this business. And Manny, hopefully, has some money tonight to maybe get some Hellman's mayonnaise. And I'd like to announce all the comics back to the stage.
I mean, if you guys didn't realize, getting paid as a comic is a big deal. Like, because we don't normally, you know, get paid for our extravaganzas.
Yeah, we normally have to pay to be on stage.
You want to tell some jokes? Bring 10 of your friends. Make them all drink $1,000 worth, and you know, yeah, it's...
So after tonight, who's gonna watch reality TV? Who's gonna watch reality TV? Come on!
All y'all.
It airs every Wednesday at 9 p.m. 9 p.m.
StrongIsland.tv.
StrongIsland.tv. You're gonna see, hopefully, in the future, we're gonna have more of these veterans on as guests to the show, and hopefully we'll be doing this a lot more. So right now, I'd like to announce all the veterans, all the comics tonight back to the stage. I'd like to announce Kenny Murdoch.
Kenny!
I'd like to announce Rich DeLosso, Lisa Bollettieri, John Marego, Andrew Barrett, Will Gates, and Arias. You guys can all come to the stage so we can take a group picture. If you guys want to take out your cell phones, you can. You know, we're kind of famous.
John Marego, baby boy, yes. Lisa, great job, love. Appreciate you. Tumbo Manny. Will Gates, baby boy. Great job, great job. Should we hold hands and take a bow? Can we hold hands and take a bow? Come on, let's get intimately touching one another.
Wasn't it great when Lee West came back on the stage? Andrew?
Shut the mic off.
You guys have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny when you turn your you want to touch your army recruiter with a chest like this. Awesome. Listen, if I re-enlist, he gets a bonus. Enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for you veteran comedians. Go on, make some noise, make some noise, make some noise.
And if you're a veteran and you want to learn how to do stand-up comedy, go to project9line.org or reach out to me, Brian Katea. We thank you very much for coming out.